So in 2, I'm setting the stage too because I'm going to hit this with green next. So I'm pushing some of these areas a little more red where I'm going to hit it with the green, and it's going to make that kind of muddy, warm tone that I'm looking for like a live flesh color. So now I've got my phthalo green, which is a darker green than the neon, the limelight that we were using earlier. I'm going to hit this area here. There's a bit of a shadow, so it's going to kill that red, that orange right away, but it's going to give me that warm, I can't keep this on. It's going to give me that warm, muddy brown that I'm looking for. Okay, this is a little bit too orange. I'm gonna knock it back a bit. And while I've got it in my hand, I'm gonna hammer some of this into the hair too. So part of what gives a painting like a uniform look is that the color, whether or not it's apparent and stuff, moves all around the piece. So if I've got green down here and I've got that same green up here, your eyes pick that up, and it makes the piece read as a whole instead of like just, hair, face, lips, like that. It makes it a much more harmonious piece of work. So now I'm stepping back from this a bit and seeing how, is there any areas here that stand out that are not standing out to me here? I mean, obviously, I need to refine a lot, but, I can tell that this area was too bright, so I can knock it back a bit and stuff. So I'm working, holistically. It's important to step back from your work a lot and make sure that it reads from a distance the same as it is up close. It's easy to get sucked into the details and lose the overall her face and stuff. It needs to be a bit dark. All right, so I've got this flesh color again, and now we're gonna go in and kind of clean up some of her 5 o'clock shadow and all that stuff. So I'm just gonna start and work my way. So I'm leaving this area where the highlight's really hitting her forehead. But other than that, I'm working this flesh tone back on top of these colors because I want them to mix visually on this. And this is gonna act different now on top of this green color than it did just on the straight black. So there's gonna be, I would say I did, I don't know, maybe 5 passes or so of the flesh color and then some colors and some flesh. I'm working it up so that it's brighter, but I'm trying to control the overall color and hue of her face while making it brighter. So, start to finish, this one took me, I think it took me 3.5 hours to paint, and it takes me longer to paint stuff when I have to film it because I have to move out of the way. So I'm painting now how I don't normally paint. Normally I'm right, I'm on top of something, as I think anybody would be. So it's a little bit different. But you can move very fast, was my point. And that is, as you start getting comfortable doing that, it's a very quick way to paint anything. Even just a regular white shirt. Obviously, it's a lot easier to layer the colors because they're already brighter. But Ok, andiamo. Adesso dipingere. Okay, so we are back in. So her lips are a little wonky. I fixed those off camera. So I'm going to show you. We're going to start to go into detail. So I'm going to start pushing some real like pure colors, like the blues and the violets and stuff. Right now I have this flush again because her lips are like this salmon color. So how I'm achieving that is I'm layering the pyro red, pyro orange, and this flesh tone, and just back and forth a little bit. And then I'm going to clean them up with a little bit of the violet in the shadow areas and stuff. So I'm just pulling out some of the details in her lips. Move on. So another thing too, I get asked a lot if I prep the shirts before I paint them, as far as like using like a save tee or anything like that. I don't. This is just a straight up black cotton shirt. You can obviously use save tee, or you can hit it with some of the trans base and press it to kind of give it, like it knocks down the tooth in the shirt a bit, but it's not necessary. This stands up just fine on its own. This is the red. Okay, so for sake of moving this video along, I'm going to grab the violet, the dioxazine violet, purple, dioxazine purple. It's purple, yeah, no, same thing. The purpley color, and I'm gonna start painting in the details. So in this other one, like a lot of these, the details and stuff in her hair, her eyebrows, eyelashes, all that stuff is actually violet. And then I've layered some of the reds and stuff over to make it more of a brown color and pulled it back and forth. But I did purple because I could, honestly, just because it's fun. It still reads as black. There is some black in there and stuff, which I'll do at the very end. But it's one of those things where it's like, I just really liked how it looked. It gave the painting like a real vibrant feel to it, and I got to play with some, really fun colors in the shadows and stuff that, maybe no one notices it, but it's, I'm just painting for me, so I do whatever I want, and I want to do purple, so here we go. So plus too, it does actually play off that blue really nicely. Violet's actually a really great shadow to green. It knocks it way back, and it acts like if you're ever doing landscape painting and you have like a tree and you want to paint shadows in like say like a pine tree or something, purple is a really great shadow color for green. So I'm going to hit it in here and shadow some of these clumps. Use it to transition into this black. So obviously I'm using pretty small strokes in here and stuff. I mean, this is already a black shirt, and I've already hit it with a layer of black. So really, you know, the violet, I don't know if you can see it on camera or not, but it just gives it a richness. So black is just super flat, and if you have a whole area of just black in a painting, it kind of sucks you in a bit. It's like a visually dead spot. So by hitting it with the blues and the violets and stuff, it lessens that that deadness without lightening the area up. And there's overspray on this and stuff, so I'm using that to So, I mean, her ear is sticking out a tiny bit in her hair here. And I didn't, like, I missed it when I did the first pass of, like, the opaque flesh. I actually forgot all about it till just now. But I hit it with orange. So I'm just going to leave it because it's not the focal point. And honestly, if her ear is there or not, it's not going to make or break the painting. So I'm just going to leave this orange and then carve around it. And then it will read as a shadow area of flesh. Here with the overspray from the flesh, I'm sure you can start to see a bit more of this violet coming into play. So I am trying to keep these strokes consistent with like the shadowy areas that I've already established in her hair to keep it, so I'm not working against all the stuff I've already done. This is a little bit. Knock back some of that green area. We're in the shadow area of her eye. So I'm going to darken this a bit. It's a little too dark, but I'm going to carve out the like silhouette and then hit that with the purple, and I'll probably hit it with a little bit of like red, just to give it that really rich red orange color. But to me, this is too bright. I'm going in and I'm like her hair and glasses. She's got So a 3/4 eye. Weird. It's like a triangular shape that her eye makes. I'm gonna put the shadow area. Eyebrows look like they've been like brushed up, so I'm gonna kind of a really hard angle on this side. Line down underneath. So, you know, your eyes have a thickness, so when the eye comes up and then it goes in and then it goes into where your eye is sitting. So there's actually like a lip there, so I'm going to reserve that area. Move to the other eye right now. Just kidding. Okay. Oh, eyes, that's what we're doing. Okay, so we're gonna do her eyeballs. They're like a teal color. So I'm going to first put some of this limelight down, just a little bit. So in the meantime, I've kind of gone back in a little bit. I started pulling some of the details in with, actually with this and stuff, and like really like defining over these shadowy areas. And what I would do, like lastly, is like, you know, hair is, you know, no matter how manicured and stuff it is, it's, you know, it's going to be a little bit wild. So, you know, you go in and like start adding these little like frills and, you know, imperfections in the hairstyle to make it a little more realistic. This is stuff that I, you know, start doing, you know, about now when I start tightening up everything and really start working around you know, her bun needs a highlight, and, you know, these areas where the hair is turning, you know, gonna be, you know, here there's some shadows. We're gonna pull these forward on top. You know, her hair goes over her blouse. You get the idea. All right, so now we're gonna use some of this. Sorry, I keep knocking these brushes and I'm terrified they're gonna fall. I'm gonna take some of this daylight blue and go over it. And since I've already laid down a bit of this violet, it's gonna really lend itself to a darker blue, like around the outside of our iris and stuff. And then I will actually go in with black. We're gonna go with this. Her eyes are this really pretty blue color. So now I'm going to go in with some of this, actually white now, and pull out some of the highlights in her eyes, and then shadow her eyes with the phthalo blue. Really start to kind of fine tune the colors. They have like streaks of like gold and stuff in them. I'm knocking back a little bit of this over. Some of the I'm actually going to knock her eyes, the actual eyeball. It's just a real tiny. Outer eye area. All right. All right. Now I'm going to hit it with a little bit of black. I mean, her eyes are way too blue right now, but I want to get this dark value in there so I can see where where I need to make adjustments and stuff. So I'm just doing the top of her eyelid. clog in this. Now there's a bit of overspray from the flesh in this part of the glasses, and I'm going to leave it, even though it's not here in the photo, but the glasses are, I mean, obviously the lenses are kind of translucent, even though they're really dark, so if there's light hitting them, there's a possibility that you could see the skin through those. So I'm going to leave it, but I'm going to define some of the actual rim of the glasses a bit. It'll give the illusion that you're seeing her cheek through those glasses. So I'm going to knock these back a little bit. They're way blue. So I'm going to use the complement here. I'm just going to real gently just mist in some of this. I'm going to hit all of this with just a little. Then I'm going to hit it all with white. And I think we can pretty much call this how-to. I mean, obviously, you know, there's much more that needs to be done. You know, you can pull it, you know, the details in here would go in here. With white. Well, I'll give it a once over with the white then, and I'll show you what I would do if I were to want to push this. You know, obviously the lips need work. The nose needs to be a little bit more defined. It needs, you know, pulling those highlights forward. I'm going to highlight the top of her eyelid here, but I'm going to go in between her eyelashes. This has some of that creamy white color from before that I've gone over with. There's overspray of the flesh tone and the violet and stuff on this, so I'm just gonna pull a little bit of it forward. Read like the highlight spreads out a bit, so it's like I don't need to re-highlight the whole area. So she's got this reflected light. I do want it to be pretty the same as her skin, because it's like gives off like a greenish blue. These gems and stuff in the photo, a lot of these are green, like an emerald green. It's gonna turn the orange of her skin a bit muddy brown color. And I knocked this part of her earrings way back with violet and blue and stuff like that. So now I can come in and pull this forward with that same white. And it's reading as like a very warm gray inside, which would reflect like her skin. You get the idea with those. As far as her hair is concerned and stuff, like she's got some real cold light hitting like the back and like side part of her. So I'm just gonna pull this forward a little bit with some white. And then I would hit it again with either that cold yellow, probably the green, to be honest with you. Really stand off. So again, I'm still paying attention to where I've got the highlights already established. The nuts and bolts of how I would put this together. At this point in the painting, I would spend maybe another half an hour, 45 minutes, really fine tuning and really starting to pull out like the real small, get in here with the opaque blue and the opaque violet and really pull some of these darker strands forward a bit so it looks like, her hair just doesn't like disappear into the darkness. All of this, needs to be developed in this one. Her necklace and earrings and stuff like that. Her eyes, the color still needs to be adjusted, knocked back a bit. Her lips need some attention as far they're a little too pouty. All of those would be things I would adjust going into like the home stretch of the project. But that's pretty much it. I get a lot of questions about what kind of brushes I use. So these are all Iwata HP BCSs, which are the bottom feed. They're a 0.5 nozzle. And I have one for every color, but this is what I do for a living. So the amount of product and time that I would waste switching colors out and rinsing them out, it doesn't make sense for me as someone that does this, that owns a business doing this. But for someone that's just starting, one of these and to rinse them out is, it's how I started. It's totally acceptable and fine. So I hope you guys found this enjoyable and informative. And thank you, Createx. Thank you, my cameraman, Craig. You're the best. Keep the coffee coming. And I hope to see you guys again soon with another project.